quarter of our respondents are independents, keeping in step with Wisconsin's maverick status and penchant for surprises. Some housekeeping details now. Our poll was conducted last weekend by Market Shares Corporation among 600 likely county voters. Margin of error plus or minus 4%. Mike, Carol?
Okay, thank you very much. Lynn Sprangers reporting from our newsroom. And one presidential candidate is appealing directly to those voters who are angry and frustrated.
Democrat Jerry Brown says he's running because the system is corrupt. It was a message that played well in Racine tonight and in Kenosha this afternoon. Our Tim Blott says more of Brown's surging campaign.
The corrupt status quo has been running this country long enough. It's up to us to take it back.
From a student rally at UW Parkside.
I mean, the bad news is the political system is pretty decrepit. The good news is that we can change it.
To the Racine Labor Center, former Governor Jerry Brown brought his message of discontent back to Wisconsin.
And I don't believe you have to move your jobs to Mexico. I believe you can expand them right here. High wages, high productivity, and with that.
While Brown's message plays heavily toward labor, his visit comes on the heels of Milwaukee labor leaders endorsing Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton. But union leaders in Racine are making it clear they are for Governor Brown.
Because working people, by the tens of millions, will refuse to vote for Clinton, irrespective of what the so-called leaders tell them, because Clinton has an anti-union, anti-worker record.
I'm very concerned about the fast track to Mexico. I'm concerned about our workers losing decent-paying jobs. And
Brown's pro-jobs and anti-establishment message hit a clear chord among this Racine crowd, one that Brown hopes will motivate them to the polls on April 7th.
We can take it back. Thank you very much. Thank you.
In Racine, Tim Blotz, News Channel 4.
And Jerry Brown will be campaigning in Wisconsin again tomorrow. He'll appear at UWM early tomorrow afternoon.
And a fiery outburst from Jerry Brown's opponent tonight, Bill Clinton, angrily lecturing an AIDS protester. Clinton let out some of his frustration about questions about his character, firing back after a member of the group ACT UP accused him of dying of ambition.
And let me tell you something else. You do not have the right to treat any human being, including me, with no respect because of what you're worried about. I did not cause it. I'm trying to do something about it. I have treated you and all the people who've interrupted my rallies with a hell of a lot more respect than you've treated me, and it's time you started thinking about that.
Clinton says he would fight AIDS if he became president. The outburst came after a big coup for Clinton today. He picked up the endorsement of former candidate Tom Harkin. Clinton will be in Madison tomorrow.
And now to local politics and a contest where there's no love lost between the two candidates. The race is for mayor of Mequon, and it's a hot one. Tonight, a crowd of about 200 people turned out at Homestead High School for a debate between candidates Stanley Teplin and James Moriarty. Both candidates agree Mequon will continue to grow, but they strongly disagree about how to avoid growing pains. Driving through Mequon, you can't help but notice the stylish homes on spacious lots. There are several brand new businesses, too. Residential and commercial development is the hot issue here in a contentious contest for mayor. Stanley Teplin is a dentist and alderman who feels the city can continue its controlled growth. James Moriarty is a salesman and political newcomer who says he's running against City Hall.
They're filling the schools. They're raising our taxes. It's not happening all at one time, but they are setting in motion things that cannot be reversed.
Honestly, he's scaring the public when he talks about these things. It's a political trick to place in front of the people a fear of an unknown. That has just not happened in Mequon.
City voted not to have a municipal water system. Our city government came back less than a year later and voted to create a municipal water system.
To characterize this as being the city is in the water business against a referendum is simply not telling the whole story.
Both candidates are reportedly spending between $10,000 and $20,000 for the part-time post of mayor, which pays $9,600 a year. This lively campaign is the talk of the town.
The candidates are clearly very different in the way they feel about how the city should be run.
No matter where I go, it seems to be the topic.
The candidates, Moriarty and Teplin, do agree on one thing. The April 7th election is too close to call.
Well, it's enough to make you shudder. The mere thought of a 4-year-old getting a hold of crack cocaine. But that's what happened, and police are investigating tonight. The 4-year-old girl offered crack cocaine to her teacher at this North Side Head Start program. She thought she was being nice, giving her teacher some candy. The child found it under the kitchen sink of her home.
It's very scary. For a 4-year-old to have it, she can just give it to any of her friends, you know? Several kids could have died from that. She didn't know what it was.
Police say the girl's mother told them the cocaine belonged to her boyfriend. No one's been arrested yet, but the girl's mother has been ordered into the DA's office. Teachers at the school are in a special drug education program, which the director says may be expanded to include parents. Well, the next time you go to the lakefront, leave the alcohol at home.
County Executive Dave Schultz issued an order today that bans booze from the lakefront for at least the next 5 weeks. Schultz says he was extremely reluctant to do that. But he says since the county board hasn't resolved the lakefront controversy, he felt compelled to take a stand. Our Darian Ward has the story.
Last August at the North Point lakefront, a 25-year-old man was shot and killed. Many residents around the area say alcohol was a factor in the man's death. And now County Executive Dave Schultz wants to make sure it isn't a factor in any more violence.
The point is to bring the lakefront back to the people, to let the joggers, to let the people with the kids in the strollers, to let all the people of Milwaukee County, not just a select few who unfortunately have gone down there and allowed their hooliganism and loudishness to spoil it for everybody else.
Signs went up at North Point, Bradford, and McKinley Roundhouse, warning Milwaukeeans that alcohol is banned until Memorial Day. And then alcohol will be allowed only from 10 in the morning until 5 at night. Bonnie Sumner, who lives near the lakefront, doesn't think the ordinance goes far enough.
I applaud what he's done. I hope that it does some good, but I frankly don't think that having drinking from 10 to 5 is a good idea. Because what happens is if there's a cutoff, I'm afraid they're going to drink more before 5 because they know they can't get it after 5.
Sumner would like to see a total ban on drinking at the lakefront, but that may be highly unlikely in a brew town like Milwaukee. And residents in the area should not get too comfortable with the new alcohol limit. In fact, it may only hold up until May 4th, when Schultz's term expires. After that, it will be up to his successor or the county board to make a decision on the future of brew at the beach. Darian Ward, News Channel 4.
Both county executive candidates, Joe Zarneski and Tom Amon, support some limits on the sale of alcohol at the lakefront.
And still ahead on News Channel 4 at 10, Wisconsin National Guard units in a battle for their jobs.
Congress moving to open the files to close the book on the assassination of JFK.
And later, striking gold the easy way. Some of them fought in the Persian Gulf War.
But tonight, thousands of National Guard and Reserve members are fighting a new battle. They're trying to keep their jobs. The Pentagon wants to eliminate more than 140,000 jobs, 6,500 of them here in Wisconsin. The state's largest National Guard unit, the 32nd Infantry Brigade, is slated to close. The 32nd accounts for more than half the state's National Guard, and it has quite a history.
We're one of the most highly decorated brigades in the Army. We have the most continuous days of combat in World War II.
The philosophy behind why Wisconsin's getting hit so hard, why the 32nd and why not smaller units and things like that are all, I'm sure, somewhere hidden in the politics of everything.
Governor Thompson and Senators Cole and Kasten are promising to fight the cuts. Pentagon says the world has changed and the jobs are no longer necessary.
A 16-year-old murder suspect says he fired his gun because everyone else was shooting. Police say that reason was used to explain the shooting death of 14-year-old Cozy Vance. The girl was shot in the head as she ran from a party near 4th and Vine. Ironically, that party was being held to remember another murder victim, an 18-year-old who was killed last year. Police are holding 3 people in connection with Vance's death. Mike Tyson is behind bars tonight after being sentenced to 6 years in prison. Today, authorities got the former heavyweight boxing champion ready for life behind bars. Judge Patricia Gifford refused to let Tyson remain free on bail while his conviction is being appealed. He's accused of raping 18-year-old Desiree Washington, a contestant for Miss Black America. Tyson could have gotten up to 60 years in prison. He could get probation in 3 years.
A new government campaign to educate the public about AIDS is coming under fire tonight. The education campaign features a series of ads warning that the disease can strike anyone.
In fact, the person you're with right now might have HIV.
But groups representing AIDS patients say the ads don't tell people how they can avoid the AIDS virus. The groups say the ads never mention safe sex, condoms, or drug needles.
A clean bill of health for President Bush tonight. His doctors say he's doing fine. The president went in for his annual checkup at Bethesda Naval Hospital. Mr. Bush was told that his heart rhythm was fine and that jogging is good for him. But Mr. Bush was told he could use a vacation. Doctors say an earlier diagnosis of glaucoma in the president's left eye was wrong. Soon you may know what's inside the secret files on the JFK assassination. Lawmakers have proposed legislation to release the documents. A resolution filed in both the House and Senate would set up a citizen review board. It would decide if CIA, FBI, and other papers should be declassified. 848 boxes of records are sealed till 2029, but the documents could be made public in 2 years.
Boy, and so much interest again. JFK, and now there's a movie Ruby coming out. The public still...
We've all wanted to know.
Yeah, for many years.
Yes. Speaking of interest, wasn't today?
Weather, yeah.
Very interesting.
Come on, wasn't it exciting today?
It was interesting.
We had a little of everything. We had sun, we had rain, we had snow, but things will be better tomorrow. But I want to show you here. Today is, of course, late in March, and some interesting things have happened on this date. Look at 1954. I love to pronounce this place. Allakaket, Alaska. 69 below zero, coldest record for the month of March in the U.S. And check out Chicago in 1930. Almost 20 inches of snow.
Real advantages for the real world at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer today.
News Channel 4 continues with Paul Joseph and the weather.
Hope you had a nice spring day. It was a typical March spring day in Wisconsin, a little bit of everything. And this evening we have snow, but it's diminishing. You can see on Doppler 4 just light snow, Port Washington, Milwaukee, down through Kenosha, ending in western Waukesha County, pushing toward the east-southeast, kind of toward the southeast. We had about 1 to 2 inches of snow according to all of our observers in this part of the state. Tomorrow morning you get up, I don't think you have to worry about snow. Sunny to partly cloudy skies, starting to clear out now in central Wisconsin. 26 at 7 o'clock at noon, 40 degrees. With light snow outside, it is chilly. 29 at News Channel 4, the wind chill 6. Mitchell's got 31, Greenfield 31. The dew point right now at 28. Humidity 88%. Look at the winds, northwest 20, gusting to 31, pressure rising 2994. I mentioned clearing just to the west of us, three-dimensional satellite picture. Here are the clouds over eastern Wisconsin. Clear in Madison, La Crosse, Minneapolis, so a good deal of sunshine tomorrow. High pressure builds over. Let's check the situation out. We're going to put a time lapse together, and you can see the clouds that moved over the area today. But the interesting thing, look to the east of us. This is a major storm developing in the northeastern part of the United States. They're in for a lot of rain and snow. In fact, winter storm watches in the mountains from, New Hampshire right down through West Virginia. Heavy rain, flash flood watches right along the coastal region. The reason, the low pressure center that came right over our area earlier today is now around Lansing, Michigan. That's what gave us the snow this evening. That interacts with a new low developing into the Atlantic. It looks like they're going to get a nor'easter tomorrow. But we're going to get high pressure. Look at what happens tomorrow. The high pressure moves close to Wisconsin. We get the sunshine. This low intensifies. Lots of rain and snow off to the east. And another southwest weather system. More rain in Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico. Temperatures tomorrow, mild if you're going south. 70s down around Dallas, Fort Worth. 50s near Seattle. Cool around the Midwest, 30s and 40s. In fact, around our state tomorrow. Enjoy the sunshine. Upper 30s near the lake. Low to mid-40s inland. The forecast for tonight, windy, colder. The snow showers will be ending with lows 20 to 25. For tomorrow, sunny to partly cloudy. Not a bad day. Highs 38 at the lakefront, up to 44 inland. Tomorrow night looks like it'll be mostly clear. Lows 20 to 25. And for Saturday, sunny early, then increasing clouds. Highs 42 at the lakefront. 48 inland. Rest of the weekend looks pretty good. Partly cloudy Sunday, upper 40s to near 50. Same is true on Monday, and a chance of some mild rain showers come Tuesday. By then, it's going to be close to April.
And that would be nice, 50s, April, that'd be great.
You know what else happens in April? No, we won't get into that.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul.
Yes, we're getting to see some spectacular pictures of our planet tonight.
It comes courtesy of Space Shuttle Atlantis. The astronauts aboard the shuttle are using an electron gun to look at magnetic fields. They're also working around the clock to gather data on what must be done to protect the ozone layer. And in the process of their scientific gathering, a beautiful view of what Europe looks like from space. There you see it.
Paul's microphone's not on, but I know he's looking on. He's saying, that's interesting.
Yes, he has so much passion in his weather.
He does, he does. That's nice.
And we're going to talk about the Wisconsin Badgers hockey team. They're the successful one. And, of course, you had the Mike Tyson story. And I guess the question is now, will Tyson ever box again? We have some, well, rather differing opinions on that. And we'll get to that when we come back.
Happy trails to you till we meet again.
Drop in the bucket. Drive a new Civic and save at Schlossman's Honda City and Wild Honda Cars.
Now, Hank Stoddard and News Channel 4 Sports.
The most successful major sports team in Wisconsin over the past couple of decades has been the Hockey Badgers. And tonight in Providence, they were in first-round NCAA tournament action. We pick it up in the first period here, and New Hampshire opens the scoring with this goal from the side of the net against UW netminder Dwayne Dirksen. But the Badgers come back. They tie it here and then carry a 3-2 lead into the third period. Eventually, an empty net goal gives Wisconsin a final 4-2 victory. They advance against St. Lawrence on Saturday. The NCAA basketball tournament is in the process of changing from the Sweet 16 to the Elite 8. And by the time the weekend's over, we'll be down to the Final 4. In the West Regional, Indiana goes 2-1 against Florida State. Damon Bailey scores from Jamal Meeks. Just before the half, Doug Edwards nails a three-point shot for Florida State. But Bobby Knight's team has three coming up here, and it's from Meeks. They go on to win it 85-74. And so the Hoosiers advance to the West Regional Final against the winner of the second game being played right now in Albuquerque, and UCLA leads New Mexico State in that one. In the East Regional, Massachusetts ends the first half, a 66-foot basket from Jim McCoy. Is Kentucky stunned? Well, not really. Jamal Mashburn scores 30 points, two of them on this alley-oop. Kentucky wins it by 10. So the final score, Kentucky 87, UMass 77. Wildcats will next meet Duke, the defending champions, if Duke can get past Seton Hall in the nightcap of that doubleheader at Philly. NBA tonight, Atlanta won 107-95 over Washington. The Knicks are ahead of Denver. That's late in the fourth quarter. A 5-year NFL veteran, strong safety Adrian White of the New York Giants, has become the 5th player this season to sign with the Packers under Plan B. The others are deep snapper Mike McDonald, defensive lineman Frank Conover, safety Charles Washington, and center Frank Winters. Will Clark drove in 3 runs with a homer and a single. The San Francisco Giants edged the Brewers 4-3 today. Cactus League baseball action. The hottest golfer on the Pro Tour, Freddie Couples, has cooled off, at least for a day. Couples shot a 73 in the first round of the Players' Championship today in Florida and trails leader Billy Ray Brown by 9 strokes. But the shot of the day right here by Bob Lohr from the wrong side of the cart path on 15. Lohr chips right into the hole. Now the signature hole at Sawgrass is, of course, the island's 17th. And watch this pretty tee shot by Corey Pavin. Does more than just stay dry. Sets him up for a birdie, and he did make the birdie putt. Well, did Mike Tyson's boxing career end today when he was sentenced to a minimum of 3 years in prison? There are varying opinions tonight. The president of the World Boxing Council, Jose Suleiman, who believes Tyson is innocent, says his organization will allow the former champ to return to the ring after his release. But Elias Cordova of the rival World Boxing Association says, quote, "A great boxing career has ended." Tyson was not only the youngest person ever to win the heavyweight title, he was also the youngest to lose it.
If he gets out in 3 years, he'll be 29 years old. Boxing has countenanced the return of Larry Holmes at 42, the return of George Foreman at 40-something. 29 is not too old.
A lawyer and boxing writer, Bert Sugar, feels Tyson could run into further trouble in prison.
He might get into trouble behind bars. There might be somebody at Michigan City, Indiana, behind those bars, serving 99 years without a chance for parole, who wants to prove that they, not Mike Tyson, is the baddest man on this planet. I don't know how he'll deal with that.
So I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, we don't want him to have too much practice in prison. That's
true.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Hank.
Thanks, Hank.
More up next, some nuggets of wisdom on striking it rich.
Two guys finding the gold rush the very easy way.
But first, we'll dig out tonight's winning Super Cash numbers. They are 1, 2, 5, 15, 19, and 29.